Hi, I'm Rishi Gandhi, director of Mater Mortis.
Yeah, so how do you feel after you see your film on the big screen?
This is about the third or fourth time I've seen it played in the theater. And each time I think to myself, wow, how many times have I watched my movie? Because I shot it, I edited it, I did the color grade for it, so I've seen it many, many times. And I think the thing that makes it stand out watching it live is actually seeing people's reactions after the fact, because it's very fulfilling when people connect with the film after and tell me they liked it. Which is, as a filmmaker, it's always hard to believe that your work's any good, because you've seen it so many times, you lose perspective on what it is that you made. So Mater Mortis is a short horror film following a South Asian family fracturing under the weight of their matriarch's illness. The matriarch in this case is the mother, and she's a zombie. And it explores the fallout of the relation. Like it's short. It follows the kind of like the strained relationship between father and son struggling to communicate with each other. It's really based off of a lot of things I went through in my life, and that was the kind of the source of inspiration for this film.
Do you find this whole process of making this film is it very difficult in terms of dealing with these issues? But in the same time, did you find a healing process?
Well, prior to the film, I'd been in therapy for a while, and I was in therapy during the filming of the film, and I was in therapy after the film. So I had quite a few years to kind of deal with a lot of that stuff. So I wasn't really using the film as like a therapeutic process that much, although there were elements of, because a few years before my own father had died, so I was still dealing with a lot of those emotions and a lot of those things. So kind of recreating elements of like the times when my father and I struggled to communicate because there was so much distance physically because he was on a different continent, but also my mother's bipolar disorder and her illness kind of just made it hard for us to talk about these things because neither of us had the kind of the communication skills, or in my case, I was a young man without like my parents present in my life to actually learn how to communicate this stuff, and just kind of recreating that was a little tough, but I had really good actors and they understood it and they went with it. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question. I just started rambling. So
How long is the film?
the film is 14 minutes and 36 seconds and about maybe 12 to 18 frames. I don't know.
How long does it for you to make it from the beginning to finish?
We started writing in the winter of January, probably 2019, and then pre-production began in May. We did about 2 months of prep for a crowdfunding campaign, which was in September 2019, and we shot in October. And then the pandemic happened, and then I just had a long time to just work on the edit and the color grading process.
So you did pretty much everything: directing, writing, and.
I was a co-writer for the screenplay, although I did write the original short story. I had an actual screenwriter helping me shape the screenplay, and we worked together pretty closely. And in terms of the cinematography, I did on my own. I directed, I did the editing, and I did the color grading. That's not to say we didn't have a brilliant crew, and I had excellent producers backing me up every step of the way.
Yeah, the mood, the color is really great.
Thank you so much. I really want to shout out my color grading mentor, Dado Valentic, who's actually based out here in LA. I spent a lot of time learning how to color grade and improve whatever kind of basic color grading skills I had from my life as a post-production professional.
What kind of software, editing software?
I initially started in Final Cut 10, and then as the needs of the production changed, I moved to DaVinci Resolve. I use Resolve for the color. I use it for some touch-ups on the edit when stuff needed to be done late in the process instead of going back to Final Cut. My sound designer / engineer, he used Pro Tools for the audio mix. The next step is that this short is basically a proving ground. This short is a proving ground for myself as a narrative director, and I am working on another short. Which a writer I'm working with we're both hoping to develop it into a television show. And I'm also concurrently writing two different feature films. One is an expanded version of Mater Mortis, and it'll be quite different from the short. It'll deal with a lot of the same themes, but it'll be a greatly expanded story. And the other feature I'm not going to quite talk about yet, but there will probably be a point where I focus on one feature over the other when I get to a later point of development. And yeah, that's basically the plan right now. I'm not really looking for distribution for my short unless someone happens to really like it. I find short distribution to be a very difficult proposition compared to features.
Well, thank you so much. It's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this interview.
It's a pleasure to watch your film.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.